Here's a video on how to draw your name in one-point perspective. First, you're going to start by outlining the letters without using 3D. Next, come in and turn them into block letters, but block letters that have no rounded edges or corners. Make everything a straight line. You can erase that inside line so that it's less confusing, so that you can see only your final lines. Take as much time as you need to get your block letters looking how you like them. Leave out sections like the inside of an A or an O and just stick to making them solid. Think of a creative way to work with an S. Now, you're going to take each point of the letter itself and join it to the point you've chosen to be your one-point perspective. I recommend you work with each letter at a time, then come back and make changes as you need to each letter. You're going to see in a moment why I want you to do this. Here is the key. We're going to chop off the letter, joining those two lines at the outside, joining those lines at the edge, and joining that line at the bottom, following through the lines so they make sense, so that once we come in and erase the long lines that join the letter to the one point, we have what remains is a block letter. So I'm outlining this in pen at this point so that you can see what the T is going to become. Well, you don't have to outline it in pen right away. I'm just doing it for the demonstration. Now I'm going to move on to the E, and I erased the one-point perspective lines for the T. So now I'm going to do the E. These are kind of complicated, and I'm going to chop off these tiny bits and bobs of the E. I call it chopping it off. I'm choosing where on the one-point line makes sense visually for the E to become a block that recedes into space. So there's the bottom of it there, and on some parts of the E, it's kind of small. Just the middle section of the E, it's just like a tiny little square. Okay, the S is going to be a little bit the same on the end of the S. So it's such a long line, but I did it right away because I wanted it to start to make sense to my mind. Even right here, the back of it, I did it right away because I thought to myself, oh, it's not going to make much sense otherwise. I'm going to do the same thing with the next S. And the next S, what's interesting about my daughter's name is the next S is going to look really different because one's sort of on one side of the point and one's on the other. So they're going to be right next to each other, but they're really going to have unique perspective. Like on the next S, we're going to see the bottom of the S. That one side of the S is more in line with the one point. Now the A and the S, the one-point perspective lines don't really overlap, so it's not as confusing. I can just chop off the bottom of that A right away so that I don't have to come back and try to do it after I've drawn all those points. I'm just doing it all in pencil because I may look at it and go, okay, does this part make sense visually? Does it make sense? I know for a fact that I kind of messed up the arrow a little bit. I think I tried to fix it. Then I'm noticing here that that little inside of the A, I missed like the little triangular part that I need to join the arrow. So I just came back and fixed that real quick so that it all made sense. At this point, I'm pretty confident about my lines and where I've chopped them all off. I'm going to erase the perspective lines. I'm going to color the part of the block that goes back into space a lighter color. And I'm going to color the front a darker color so that it pops out. And there it is. I've got my name in 1 point perspective.